welcome to Eisenhower Morning News. I'm Teddy.
And I'm Ryder.
Today is Thursday, October 6th, and it's a day one.
There are no birthdays today. Today's weather will be cloudy with a high near 70 degrees.
Our Paths Kid of the day today are 4th grade, Izzy, Chase, Frank, Toby, and Auden.
5th grade, Tyler, Emma, Bennett.
Today's lunch specials are French toast sticks and sausage spicy chicken sandwich, boneless chicken wings, and cereal fun lunch.
Regular daily menu items are cheese or pepperoni pizza, cheese stuffed breadsticks, cheeseburger, chicken patty sandwich, strawberry croissant with granola, and fruit and vegetable bar. Remember to show RCR today, especially when using the bathrooms. Do your best to keep them clean and safe for everyone to use. And use only as much time as you need so you can get back to class quickly.
When we each show RCR in the whole school, it is better because we are better together. Fat Bear Week started yesterday and continues through the long weekend. Log on to explore.org Fat Bear Week from school or from home to vote each afternoon. You can also follow the link in your STEAM Google Classroom.
Now for the exclusive interview you've all been waiting for. Here's Canyon and Noah.
We are celebrating Fat Bear Week here at Eisenhower, but I bet you didn't know that one of our very own teachers got to see the bears up close and personal.
5th grade teacher, Mr. Morrow, traveled to Katmai National Park for the trip of a lifetime this summer. We had a chance to ask him some questions about his trip and about the bears of Brooks Falls. Good afternoon, Mr. Morrow. Thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Where did you stay in Alaska? Who was there with you? And were you scared by any of the bears?
Well, first of all, we were on a trip of 24 of us ended up going, and most of it was family. We were in Katmai National Forest, and we were actually in the river that was called Naknek. And we actually went there during the second week of August. And something unusual about that time of year was the fact that it's light almost till midnight every night, and then of course it gets daylight at about 6 in the morning. So there was a lot of daylight during that period of time.
Can you tell us a little more about the bears? Like, were they good swimmers, and are they good at catching fish?
As far as the bears, if you're looking at this behind me, this is known as Brooks Falls, and we actually went there on I think it was a Saturday morning, and they actually boated us there with a boat. A lot of our trips were fly-out trips where we were in bush planes, but this one they took us on a boat, and it took us almost 40 minutes to get there. And once you arrive at Brooks Falls, you have to understand something. They're really protected. There's a lot of bears here, but they're protected by the people of the national park. You don't want to end up shooting one of these bears because they're that protective of them. Another unique thing about the bears of Brooks Falls is the fact that if you look at all these bears together, this isn't normal. It's the only place in the world that brown bears come together and fish in one spot, believe it or not. The guide said that these bears will come here, they will growl a little bit at each other, but there are so many fish here coming up through this stream that they don't bother with each other. They get their fill of the food. They're after the fats. They want the brains of the fish. They want the eggs of the fish, and they want the skin of the fish. The rest of it they let go. And of course, that fish and then ends up floating downstream, and it becomes known as flesh. And the rainbow trouts then are feeding on the sockeye that are left over by the brown bears. They're still in the water floating away until another fish eats it. So it's a pretty unique system. But we fished this area here downstream about 40 yards. And then all you do is if the bears come near you, you're supposed to stand together and put your arms up in the air to look bigger. And you're supposed to talk so they can hear you. You don't want to startle them. And they usually just bypass and go on their way downstream and fishing and just swimming. Some of them will swim on their backs and just spin around, just enjoying the day. But they're a very unique animal. They'll take their paw like this, and if the fish are coming down, they'll take their paw and they'll smash it against the bank and pin the fish against the bank, and then they'll start eating it. Yeah, they're really good. They're really good at swimming. The big ones get from 1,000 to 1,500 pounds. The large ones. A lot of times, what I did notice about them as we're fishing there, we have to keep an eye on them, of course, because we're in their home. But when they stand up all the time. And the reason for that is their curiosity. They're just curious of what's going on around them. They knew we were there the whole time. They could have come at us at any time, but they didn't. Their main focus, just like we are, we like to focus on our food, and they were focused on their food.
What kinds of fish were you catching, and how can you tell which is which?
The rainbow trout. I have pictures of the rainbow trout, and they get up in the neighborhood of 30 inches, a lot of them. They come in, of course, from the ocean, and they're feeding on the eggs, because the sockeye are in the water, just like the brown bears are feeding on the sockeye. The trout are doing the same thing. Then we have grayling. Grayling, they have like a fin that unfolds like a fan. It unfolds on top. That's known as a grayling. We caught a few of those. We caught a lot of silver salmon. The silver salmon are in here because, again, they're after the eggs of the sockeye, and they were in there too. There's the humpies, they call it. The humpies is a salmon that has a hump on its back, and they're known as the humpies. The pinks, they call them the pink salmon. They're also in the water feeding. So there's a variety of fish and a lot of going on in this system with fishing. You're in Alaska, it's going to be winter soon, and they're trying to get that fat built up so they can survive the winter. So it's pretty important for them.
What was Brooks River like? Is it cold? Does it move rapidly?
The river is probably the size of, if you've ever seen the Allegheny River, the rivers down in Pittsburgh, the river is probably twice that size. The river, we stayed on the shores of the Naknek River, but the Naknek River runs into the lake. So the water is pretty big. It's a lot of water. But you have to understand, coming from that lake, these fish are coming through the lake from the ocean, and they're traveling up the Naknek River by the millions. There's just not 1,000 fish. There's millions going up through that river during the spawning season. There's a lot of fish.
What interesting things did you see in Alaska besides bears while you were fishing?
Well, we ended up going to Denali. Denali's one of the highest mountain ranges in Alaska. And we took a trip and ended up going over there to try and see it. We took some pictures of it. The problem is Denali, they say the top of the mountain is so high it's usually in the clouds. Their weather system is so much different than any weather system that we see down here. There's a lot of snow up top. It's hard to predict what kind of weather they have up there, but it's always usually in the clouds. Where we were fishing, we ended up going to a smaller stream, so we did 2 flyouts in bush planes, which in the bush plane was kind of fun. It's so loud, everybody has to wear headsets because it's a single engine airplane, and it's just loud. So we went on 2 flyouts to 2 smaller streams, and I also was in Anchorage, and Anchorage has a variety of places, restaurants to eat, and you can imagine being they're so close to the ocean, and with the fish, that's their main dish, of course, is the fish, the sockeye salmon, which is absolutely delicious. So the restaurants were really good in Anchorage.
Thank you, Mr. Morrow. It was great to hear about your trip to Katmai. And
Just in time for Fat Bear Week!
Yes, it is. I have one more thing. If you take a look at this picture up here, Brooks Falls, you see this guy right here? They call him Chubby. Chubby is always in this spot. And what they figured is, Chubby, he's the dominant bear amongst all these bears. Because this is like the best fishing spot. The fish always come up through here. And he was always standing here. He wouldn't give it up. He would come off the shore, he would eat the fish, and he would come back. What was really funny though, the fact that he walked away from that spot, no other bear would step into it. Because he was still in sight. Yeah, but he would always fish that same spot.
Remember to turn in your fundraiser packets to Miss Dior and collect your prize.
Finally, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Goodbye forever.